Did you know that eating the wrong kind of breakfast just once could silently send your blood pressure soaring? In Japan, studies have shown that over 70% of strokes occur in the morning, right after waking up and eating breakfast. Why is that? Morning is supposed to be when we feel refreshed and ready, not at risk. So here's the big question. Is your daily breakfast helping your heart or quietly working against it? Many people say just eat something quick in the morning. Anything is fine. It's a sandwich, a bowl of beef noodles, a strong cup of coffee. But what if those very choices are exactly what's triggering your hidden blood pressure spikes? And if you or someone in your family is living with high blood pressure, this becomes even more important. Because the real danger isn't in the blood pressure number you see on the monitor. It lies in the quiet daily habits you repeat without noticing, like breakfast. I once heard a powerful quote: "We do not die from big decisions. We die slowly from small habits." And breakfast. This one habit we repeat every single morning may very well decide the future of your heart health. Let me ask you this. Why is it that some people in their 70s and 80s have stable blood pressure and can still walk miles every day, while others in their early 50s are already taking 3 different medications just to function? The difference lies in how they start their mornings. Not with something fancy, but with a simple, thoughtful breakfast that supports their heart. In this video, I am going to share with you what an ideal breakfast looks like for people with high blood pressure. It's the common and dangerous mistakes people make without realizing it. And how to enjoy your food while keeping your blood pressure in check day after day. This isn't just a food story. It's a story about living well, aging peacefully, and staying strong. And right after this, you will understand why getting breakfast right might just save the rest of your life. Section 1. Why is breakfast so important for people with high blood pressure? Breakfast acts as the body's first brake system after a long night of sleep. Our body does not completely shut down when we sleep. In fact, many quiet but essential processes are still happening. Right after waking up, blood pressure naturally rises. As the body reboots, the heart beats faster. Blood vessels gently tighten to prepare for the day and begin releasing hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, both of which cause your blood pressure to rise even further. If you skip breakfast at this moment, your body may think it is entering a stressful state. I once had a patient, an elderly woman in her early 60s, who often skipped breakfast because she was used to it. Her blood pressure readings were all over the place, no matter what medication she took. After I gently encouraged her to eat something light every morning, just a bowl of oats and some fruit, her blood pressure began to stabilize. She looked at me and smiled. I never thought something that small could stop those dizzy spells I kept getting. Breakfast helps balance blood sugar, which indirectly stabilizes blood pressure later during lunch. You may overeat, causing a sharp spike in blood sugar, which also drives blood pressure upward. One thing I learned from my diabetic patients is this: blood sugar and blood pressure are quietly but deeply connected. When you skip breakfast, your blood sugar drops. Having a consistent, nutritious breakfast helps keep blood sugar levels steady, which in turn keeps blood pressure within a safe zone. There is a quote I really like from Dr. William Osler: "The good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease." In other words, we are not just treating blood pressure numbers, we are treating your entire way of living. And breakfast is a part of that lifestyle. A proper breakfast reduces the risk of overeating later in the day. This is a familiar trap. Eat very little in the morning, then eat too much at lunch and dinner. Over time, this leads to fat accumulation, especially visceral fat, the silent contributor to high blood pressure. Someone once told me, "I do not eat salty food, but my blood pressure is still high." I asked, "Do you eat breakfast regularly?" She said no. And during lunch, she would eat large portions because she was starving. I will show you which foods are helpful, which ones you should avoid, and how to build a breakfast that naturally supports stable, healthy blood pressure. The truth is, breakfast will not make you lose weight overnight. But it helps your body avoid imbalance, reducing stress on your heart and blood vessels. In other words, breakfast is not just about feeling full. It is about keeping the heart at peace. The question now becomes, what exactly should you eat for breakfast? Do not worry. In the next part, I will break it down clearly. Part 2. Common breakfast mistakes for people with high blood pressure. Having breakfast does not mean anything you eat is good for you. Many people think, as long as I eat something in the morning, it is fine. But this mindset leads to silent daily habits that raise blood pressure little by little, often without you noticing. 1. Salty breakfasts. The sneaky trap most people overlook. When I ask my patients, what do you usually eat for breakfast? The usual answers: a baguette with soy sauce, a bowl of noodle soup with sausage, or sticky rice with shredded pork and salted egg. These are common, tasty, convenient foods, but they often contain a high amount of hidden sodium, especially in broth, sauces, and processed meats. Most of us only think of salt as that white powder we add while cooking, and the body to retain more fluid, pushing blood pressure higher for the rest of the day. But in reality, salt is hidden in many foods we eat daily, and we barely notice. For people with high blood pressure, regularly eating salty breakfasts can cause blood vessels to narrow. 2. Refined carbs and low fiber. They seem light but trigger blood pressure spikes. A plain white bread roll, a plate of white sticky rice, or a packet of instant noodles may look like simple choices. But these are high in refined carbohydrates that cause sudden spikes in blood sugar. One retired doctor I met was very cautious with food. She ate plain white bread every morning, thinking it was light and safe, but her blood pressure kept fluctuating. After switching to whole grain bread with a bit of vegetables, her blood pressure became noticeably more stable. Refined carbs do not just affect blood sugar. They increase the body's stress response, causing the heart to beat faster, which indirectly raises blood pressure. 3. Drinking strong coffee or tea on an empty stomach. A beloved habit with hidden dangers, many. Older adults enjoy their morning cup of black coffee or strong tea, often without eating first. I understand this. It feels like a ritual that starts the day. But caffeine on an empty stomach can stimulate the heart and blood vessels too strongly, causing temporary blood pressure spikes, heart palpitations, or even shakiness and fatigue. One 65-year-old man once told me, "Without coffee, I feel sleepy the whole day." I advised him not to give up coffee entirely, but to have a small bite to eat first, and switch to a milder brew or warm soy milk instead. For skipping breakfast altogether sounds harmless, but comes with real risks. Some people skip breakfast because they are busy or do not feel hungry in the morning. But this throws the body into a mild stress mode, releasing stress hormones, making the heart work harder, and over time makes blood pressure harder to manage. The ancient physician Hippocrates once said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Skipping breakfast means missing the most natural medicine you can give your body each day. We are not afraid of big mistakes. We are harmed by small habits. We ignore breakfast does not have to be fancy, but it should never be careless. For people with high blood pressure, every morning is a chance to let the body quietly heal itself. In the next part, I will share simple, practical breakfast ideas, easy to prepare, easy on the heart, so you can start your day with true peace of mind. Part 3. What is the best type of breakfast for people with high blood pressure? Eating less is not the answer many people think. Since I have high blood pressure, I should eat very little for breakfast. But the truth is, eating correctly is what matters, not eating less or cutting out entire food groups. A proper breakfast should be balanced, heart-friendly, and not cause blood pressure spikes. It also helps lower bad cholesterol, making it especially valuable for those at risk of heart disease. Prioritize fiber, the silent gatekeeper of your blood vessels, but after a week, she told me, fiber slows down the absorption of sugar, which helps prevent blood pressure from rising after a meal. I often recommend starting the day with soft-boiled oatmeal, topped with banana or slices of guava. At first, one of my patients said it tasted bland. I no longer feel dizzy or fatigued around 9 a.m. like I used to. Foods rich in fiber that work well at breakfast. Oats, whole grain bread, sweet potatoes, low sugar fruits, guava, apple, grapefruit, chia seeds, flax seeds too. Choose healthy proteins to nourish your muscles and your heart. Older adults, especially those with high blood pressure, need protein to maintain muscle, regulate blood sugar, and support blood pressure control. Protein is not just for the young or gym goers. I often suggest a breakfast with boiled eggs, unsweetened soy milk, or steamed chicken breast. A simple meal like one boiled egg, plus a slice of whole grain bread, plus a few slices of tomato can keep you satisfied until lunch without feeling heavy. What is important is to avoid fried or processed protein sources like sausages, deli meats, or deep-fried items, which are full of salt and unhealthy fats. Opt for complex carbs that digest slowly, avoiding sugar spikes that may indirectly raise blood pressure. 3. Slow digesting carbohydrates. Your must-have companion carbohydrates should not be eliminated but chosen wisely. Good carbohydrate choices for breakfast: brown rice, oats, sweet potatoes, whole grain, or rye bread. I once helped a patient switch from white sticky rice to boiled sweet potato for breakfast. She later told me I was surprised. Not only did my blood pressure become more stable, but even my digestion improved. 4. Avoid drinks that make your heart race instead of strong coffee or dark tea. Choose unsweetened plant-based milk, light teas like chamomile or roasted brown rice tea. Warm water with a few drops of lemon. These drinks will keep your mind awake without making your heart race or spiking your blood pressure. A proper breakfast does not need to be complicated, just made with the right ingredients. I always remind my patients you do not need a special diet. Just eat simple food. It's the right way. So each morning, treat breakfast as the most gentle medicine you can give yourself. Not just to live longer, but to live healthier, more freely, without relying on medication forever. Part 4. A true story that changed my perspective. Every patient is like a book, and some pages stay with me forever. Not every unforgettable story involves a dramatic emergency. Sometimes it is just a quiet, simple shift in routine that leaves the deepest impact. Mr. Howard, a 68-year-old man living quietly. Yet his body told a different story. I first met Mr. Howard on a calm Monday morning. He walked into the clinic with a slow, thoughtful pace, his eyes reflective and focused, and went for walks every day without fail. On paper, he was doing everything right. In his hand, he carried a small notebook, carefully filled with daily blood pressure readings. He did not drink. He took his medications right on time. He did not smoke. But his blood pressure told a different story. Steady in the morning, then suddenly spiking in the afternoon, without any obvious reason. As I asked more about his daily routine, one detail stood out. Something he had never considered a problem. He did not eat breakfast. Every morning, he simply drank a strong cup of black coffee, brewed the night before and poured into a thermos, ready to go. A habit that seemed harmless turned out to be the hidden, because it thinks it is starving, so it releases stress hormones. Is it too late to change? These make your heart beat faster, tighten your blood vessels, and raise your blood pressure silently. I gently explained to him, when you skip breakfast, your body goes into a stress mode. He smiled and said, "I have lived like this for decades." I answered, "As long as you are breathing, it is never too late." I simply invited him to try something different for just 7 days. One small change, made possible by trust. I did not ask him to overhaul his entire lifestyle. No more random spikes. Instead of strong coffee on an empty stomach, start the morning with a small bowl of soft oats or steamed sweet potato and drink a glass of warm water. If he still wanted coffee, have it after breakfast and make it milder. Eating sweet potato and drinking warm water in the morning, it just feels right. He nodded quietly and left. 3 weeks later, no words needed. Just a look in his eyes. When Mr. Sow returned 3 weeks later, He did not have to say anything. He walked faster, looked brighter, and smiled more. His notebook showed his morning blood pressure had stabilized. He told me, "I still take my meds, but I feel lighter now. No more dizziness when I stand up." You do not need to change your whole life overnight. Just start with one right choice each morning. Mr. Sow's story reminded me of a quote by James Clear, author of Atomic Habits. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And for someone with high blood pressure, that system might begin with a simple question. What are you eating this morning? Summary and final advice. We have just walked through a small but powerful journey together. A journey that looked into breakfast. A daily habit so simple yet capable of reshaping your heart health. Let us quickly recap what we discovered. Why breakfast is the most sensitive moment for people with high blood pressure. When the body is most vulnerable to pressure spikes. How common mistakes like eating too much salt, skipping breakfast, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, or eating refined carbs can quietly push blood pressure higher. Most importantly, how to build a breakfast that is simple, healthy, blood pressure friendly, and still delicious and realistic for busy lives. I know changing habits is never easy, but once you truly understand why it matters, the motivation to begin becomes much stronger. There is a quote from Aristotle that I often think about. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. You may not be able to control your blood pressure overnight, but you can control how you start your morning, and that is a powerful place to begin. Now, let me ask you something. Tomorrow morning, all you had to do was swap out one thing. Skip the strong coffee. Add a slice of boiled sweet potato or reduce a tablespoon of soy sauce. Would you do it? It sounds small. But small changes done every day are what lead to real, lasting health. Imagine a day when you no longer worry about sudden blood pressure spikes. No more morning dizziness or anxiety. And no need to keep increasing your medication. That peace? I have seen it happen for many of my patients. Then I truly believe it can happen for you too. If this video gave you a new perspective or made you rethink your own breakfast, please leave a comment below. Tell me what your breakfast looks like right now or what change you are thinking of making. I read every comment and I am always here to share more if you need support. And if you found this helpful, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because in the next video, I will be covering something even more silent and more dangerous than high blood pressure. Visceral fat, how it hides in the body, affects older adults, and often shows no clear symptoms until it is too late. Do not miss it, because sometimes the things you do not see are the ones quietly destroying your health every day. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Still calm, gentle, but always honest and full of care. Wishing you a peaceful morning, starting with a truly heart-smart breakfast.